It begins in a small way. Someone makes a joke that cuts a bit too deep. They don't reply to your message for several days. They make choices without checking with you first. You sense something is wrong in your stomach. A heavy, cold feeling settles in, but you push it down. You force a smile. You convince yourself you're being the bigger person. You convince yourself it's not important. But it is important. Because being treated badly isn't just one moment. It's something that happens slowly over time. It's like a test. And every single time you say nothing, every single time you brush it off with a laugh, you're not being kind. You're making an agreement. You're showing everyone that your self-worth can be negotiated, that you're easy to push around, that they can step all over you without facing any problems. Niccolo Machiavelli, the man who understood the darkest parts of how people behave, figured this out hundreds of years ago. He understood that the second people see you as weak, you've already lost. He didn't write The Prince for people who wanted to be popular. He wrote it for people who wanted to make it through life. If you're exhausted from being the person who gives more than they receive, if you're exhausted from feeling like nobody notices you, even when you're surrounded by people, pay close attention. We're going to completely transform your personality. We're going to eliminate the part of you that desperately seeks other people's approval. And we're going to create something different, something powerful. But first, we need to answer the question that keeps you awake late at night. The question you're scared to ask, because deep down you already know what the answer is. Why do they treat you this way? And even more importantly, why do you allow them to? There's something you're doing every single day that makes them think it's okay to treat you badly. You're doing it right now. You're doing it through how you stand, how you say sorry, and how available you make yourself. We need to find that trigger point, and we need to stop it. Being treated badly rarely happens loudly. It starts quietly. It starts small, like a test. Human beings are naturally like hunters. We're always checking our surroundings to figure out where we stand. Who is more important than me? Who is less important than me? Who can I take advantage of? Who do I need to be careful around? When someone first meets you, whether it's someone you're dating, a new boss at work, or someone you've known for years, they're unconsciously testing where your limits are. They push against your boundaries. They make a little joke where you're the target. They arrive 10 minutes late without calling to tell you. They cut you off mid-story to start telling their own. They're observing, waiting. If your boundaries hold strong, if you correct them with a look, by staying quiet, or by setting a clear limit, they step back. They put you in the respect category. But if your boundaries give way, if you smile awkwardly, if you say it's fine, no problem. You've just told them it's okay to cross your lines. Machiavelli noticed that people are motivated by two main feelings, either by affection or by fear. In today's world, we don't need people to be scared for their safety. We need them to be scared of losing their access to us. When you accept a small sign of disrespect, you're training them. You're building your own embarrassment. You're teaching them that your time isn't valuable, your feelings don't count, and your limits are just suggestions. Think about the most recent time you felt insignificant. Maybe it happened in a meeting. You were speaking and someone interrupted you. What did you do? Did you stop talking? Did you apologize? Did you wait quietly for them to finish? In that moment, you showed you were the weaker one. You showed that their voice mattered more than yours. And the worst part, you felt it inside. You felt yourself betraying who you are. That sinking feeling in your stomach isn't just shame. It's your inner self crying out at you for abandoning it. Disrespect grows in the space between your self-worth and your fear. You're afraid of arguments. You're afraid of being labeled as problematic. You're afraid that if you defend yourself, people will push you away. So you pick the slow damage of disrespect instead of the quick pain of standing up for yourself. But Machiavelli warns us, conflict is never prevented. It can only be delayed to benefit others. When you avoid the confrontation of setting a limit today, you're guaranteeing a battle against your own confidence tomorrow. And in that battle, you're fighting by yourself. So what should you do? The typical advice is useless. Tell them how you feel. Use phrases like, I feel. No. When you're dealing with someone who doesn't respect you, you're dealing with who has more power, not a counseling session. If you explain your emotions to someone who doesn't respect you, you're giving them weapons to use against you. You're showing them where you're vulnerable. You don't explain anything. You don't whine. You become empty space. Picture throwing a ball at a wall. It bounces back toward you. You catch it. You throw it again. It's a fun activity. You're participating. Now picture throwing that ball into complete darkness. It doesn't come back. It makes no sound. It just disappears. Do you throw another ball? No, you pull back. You feel uneasy. You're uncertain what's in that darkness. That's the strength of not reacting. When someone insults you, they're waiting for a specific response. They expect you to get mad, which shows they can control how you feel, or they expect you to back down, which shows they control your space. When you do neither thing, you break their expectations. You look at them directly. You maintain eye contact. You don't smile. You don't frown. You simply watch. You let their words just sit there. You let the quiet moment stretch out until it gets awkward. Not awkward for you, awkward for them. Silence acts like a mirror. In that quiet, their insult bounces back at them. They hear how small and petty their own voice sounds. They see how childish their own actions are. You'll watch them start to squirm. They'll say, I was just kidding. Or, why are you being so serious? They're panicking. They're trying to get control back, but you don't give it to them. You've stepped into what Machiavelli calls the ruler's position. The ruler doesn't get involved in small, dirty fights. The ruler observes from above. This isn't about being passive and doing nothing. This is about being smart and strategic. Your energy is like money. Your attention is like money. Why would you give money to someone who just tried to steal from you? When you refuse to react, you're showing that their opinion about you isn't important enough to affect you. You're showing that you're grounded in something deeper than needing their approval. This is the first step to becoming someone nothing can hurt. You stop feeding the problem. Machiavelli said, you need the fox to spot the traps. Disrespect is often a trap disguised as normal conversation. It's the subtle insult from someone trying to manipulate you. The compliment with an insult hidden inside. You're actually intelligent for someone who didn't attend college. You look nice. Did you lose some pounds? If you take the bait, if you say thank you, or if you get defensive, the trap closes on you. The fox sees the real purpose behind the words. You need to develop cold understanding of others. Warm understanding is feeling what they feel. It's getting caught up in the emotions. Cold understanding is like a doctor. It's like a surgeon examining a disease. You understand why they're behaving this way, but you don't get infected by it. Why is this person trying to make me seem less important? Usually, it's because they feel their own importance is at risk. People who are secure and confident don't need to put others down. Only insecure people need to stand on someone else to feel bigger. When you see the disrespect for what it really is, a sign of their weakness, not proof of your lack of worth, it stops hurting. It becomes sad and pathetic. You stop thinking, what's wrong with me? And you start thinking, what's broken inside them? This change in how you see things is everything. It moves you from being the victim to being the observer. The fox understands that you can't fight every single fight. If you respond to every small insult, you'll wear yourself out. You need to pick which battles matter. Sometimes the most powerful response is to agree with them. They say, "You're so lazy." You say, "I know." "It's nice." They say, "You're strange." You say, "Definitely." This is a technique called creating fog. You become like fog. If you throw a rock at another rock, it chips and damages it. If you throw a rock at fog, it just passes right through. You offer nothing to push against. You give them nothing solid to fight. By agreeing with the insult, or more accurately, by refusing to let it insult you, you completely disable their attack. You take the weapon from their hands and drop it on the ground. It confuses them. It breaks their plan. They want to fight. You give them nothing. And in that emptiness, you win. But sometimes staying quiet isn't enough. Sometimes danger is right at your door and breaking in. Machiavelli knew that while the fox is clever, you need the lion to create fear. There are moments when you need to show your power, not necessarily to attack, but to remind them that you could. This is where most people mess up. They confuse being aggressive with being strong. They yell. They make threats. They cause a scene. That's not strength. That's throwing a fit. Real controlled aggression is calculated. It's exact. It's a precise surgical cut. When someone crosses a line repeatedly, silence isn't an option anymore. Now you need to make them face a consequence. But here's Machiavelli's key point. The consequence must be an action, not words. You don't say, "If you do that again, I'm leaving." You just leave. You don't say, "Stop interrupting me." You stop talking completely. Look at them. Wait for them to finish, and then turn your attention to someone else in the conversation. You cut them out. You remove your attention. You remove yourself. Machiavelli wrote, "People should either be treated well or completely crushed." In today's world, crushed means they lose the privilege of having access to your time. If you have a friend who constantly cancels plans on you, you don't write them a long message about how much it hurts your feelings. You stop inviting them. When they finally contact you, you're occupied, not pretending to be busy, actually busy building a life that doesn't revolve around them. You essentially end the version of the relationship where they get to disrespect you. This is difficult. It requires you to be okay with losing people. And that's why so many of you are trapped. You're not willing to walk away. You're clinging to the leftover scraps of a relationship because you're terrified of being alone. But you need to understand this. You cannot negotiate respect with someone who terrorizes you. And anyone who holds your self-worth hostage is terrorizing your soul. If you're not willing to walk away, you have no power in the situation. Zero. The lion doesn't fake. The lion doesn't negotiate whether it deserves to exist. The lion marks what belongs to it. And if you cross that line, there's a cost to pay. That cost is you being gone from their life. Being rare creates value. Diamonds are precious because they're hard to find. Air is free, but if I take it away from you for 2 minutes, you'll give up everything you have for 1 breath. Machiavelli understood that when you're around too much, people start to take you for granted. If you're always accessible, always there, always responding right away, you become less valuable. You become like furniture in the room. When someone has disrespected you, your first instinct is usually to try even harder to win them back, to prove you're valuable, to fix everything. Do the complete opposite. Pull back. This isn't the silent treatment where you ignore someone to manipulate them. The silent treatment is done to get a reaction. What I'm talking about is strategic pulling away. This is done to protect yourself and regain your balance. You pull your energy back into yourself. You stop starting conversations. You stop sharing your private thoughts and feelings. You become a surface, polite, professional, but impossible to get through to. You treat them like they're a stranger. There's a coldness to this approach, a necessary coldness. When you take away your warmth, they feel how cold it is. They realize that your warmth was a gift you chose to give, not something they had a right to. And suddenly, the situation changes. They start chasing after you. Is everything all right? You've been really quiet recently. Don't rush back to them. Let them sit in the cold. Let them figure out that your presence is something that needs to be earned. This requires you to have a life that exists outside of them. You need to have a goal, a purpose, something that's yours. If your entire world centers on one person, a romantic partner, a boss, a parent, you're in danger. You're like a satellite spinning around their planet. If they push you away, you float off into dark, empty space. But if you are the sun, if you have your own gravitational pull, then their disrespect doesn't shake you. You simply keep burning bright. Build your fortress. Build your abilities. Build your physical strength. Build your savings. Build your knowledge. When you know that you can survive and do well without them, you become dangerous. You become free. And a free person is impossible to disrespect, because a free person can always walk away. Now we go deeper into the dark places of the mind. We've discussed how to handle the outside world. But the outside world is just a mirror of what's inside you. The harsh truth, the Machiavellian truth, is that people disrespect you because somewhere deep down you believe you deserve it. You have a tolerance level for disrespect. It's like a temperature setting in your unconscious mind. If you grew up in an unstable home, or if you've been through trauma, your setting is adjusted to accept poor treatment. You're comfortable with a certain amount of abuse. It feels familiar. It feels like what you know. When someone treats you kindly, you get suspicious. You ruin it. When someone treats you badly, you move closer. You try to fix them. You have to reset that internal setting. You have to build what the Stoic philosophers called the inner fortress, a protected space inside your mind that nobody can enter without your permission. This starts with how you speak to yourself. If you disrespect yourself, if you break the promises you make to yourself, if you eat unhealthy food, if you delay doing things, if you look in the mirror and think cruel thoughts about yourself, why would you expect anyone else to treat you better? You're broadcasting what you think you're worth on a frequency that everyone can pick up. When you enter a room, your tiny facial movements, the way your voice sounds, the way you take up space, it all communicates something. Is the message please like me, or is the message I am here? To eliminate disrespect, you must first eliminate the weak version of yourself, the version that needs validation, like it's a drug you're addicted to. You need to go without validation for a while. Stop asking people what they think. Stop fishing for compliments. Stop apologizing for existing in the space. Start keeping the promises you make to yourself. If you tell yourself you're going to the gym, you go. If you tell yourself you're going to work, you work. Every single time you keep a promise to yourself, you lay down a brick in that inner fortress. You build trust with yourself. And when you trust yourself, when you respect yourself, other people's disrespect feels disgusting. It doesn't feel normal anymore. It feels like a violation. And you reject it immediately, automatically, like pulling your hand away from something hot. You don't have to try hard to set boundaries. Your very existence is the boundary. People can sense self-respect. It has a smell. It smells like danger. It smells like someone who cannot be manipulated or controlled. And interestingly, it pulls in the right kind of people. People who want to meet you at your level, not people who want to pull you down to theirs. Let's look at how this works in real life. Tomorrow morning, you go to work or you sit down for dinner with family. Someone makes a comment. Must be nice to leave early, or I see you finally decided to show up. The old version of you would have laughed nervously. The old version of you would have explained yourself, "Oh, I actually got all my work done." Or, "Sorry, the traffic was terrible." The new you, the one who has gone through this transformation, you stop what you're doing. You turn toward them. You look them directly in the eye. You hold that eye contact for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. You say nothing at all. You turn back to what you were doing. You've just communicated. "I heard you, and it wasn't worth responding to." Or maybe you use the Socratic questioning method. You play the clever fox. They say, "Must be nice to leave early." You ask with real curiosity in your voice, "What do you mean by that?" Force them to explain their insult. Force them to unpack their passive-aggressive comment. "Oh, just that you're leaving before 5 o'clock. "Yes, I am." "Is there a problem with the quality of my work?" Now they're the ones on the defensive. Now they either have to act like your boss, or they have to back down. You've taken the hidden attack and made it visible. You've dragged the ghost out into the sunlight. This is the work that needs to be done. It's uncomfortable. Your heart will beat fast. Your hands might tremble. Do it anyway. Being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. Being brave means acting even when you are scared. Every single time you do this, you rewire your brain. You're teaching your brain that you're safe when you stand up for yourself. You're teaching your nervous system that you can handle confrontation. And gradually, the fear goes away. It gets replaced by a quiet, simmering sense of pride. The pride of a ruler who has finally claimed the throne they deserve. We need to talk about the shadow side. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist, taught that we all have a shadow side, the dark hidden part of our personality, the aggression, the selfishness, the ability to be violent. You've been taught your whole life to hide your shadow, to be good, to be harmless. But a harmless person is not a good person. A harmless person is a weak person. A good person is a dangerous person who has their danger under complete control. To deal with disrespect, you need to accept your shadow side. You need to be in touch with your capacity to do harm. You need to know that you could hurt them, that you could destroy their reputation with one sentence, that you could be cruel and you're choosing not to be. That's where your real confidence comes from. Not from being harmless, but from being a monster who has decided to be civilized. When you know you have a sword, you don't need to wave it around for everyone to see. You can keep it in its holder. But people know it's there. They see the handle. This is Machiavelli's paradox. To have peace, you must be ready for war. If you're not capable of aggression, your kindness is just weakness and submission. If you're capable of aggression, but you choose kindness, that's real virtue. Stop trying to be a perfect saint. Be a warrior relaxing in a garden. When someone disrespects you, they're basically checking to see if you have a sword. If they see you're defenseless, if they see you're incapable of fighting back, they will take everything from you. Show them the handle of your sword. Show them that you're choosing peace, but you're not afraid of conflict. Let's pause for a moment. I want you to think about what your tolerance has cost you. It has cost you sleep at night. It has cost you your dignity. It has cost you the respect of your children, who watch how you let people treat you. It has cost you money, because you didn't ask for the raise you deserved. It has cost you love, because you stayed with someone who treated you like you were just an option. Disrespect is a thief. It steals your future from you. Every time you swallow down your truth, you're swallowing poison. That poison builds up over time. It turns into bitterness and resentment. It turns into depression. Depression is often just anger that has nowhere to go. It turns into physical illness. Your body remembers and keeps track. You cannot afford to be disrespected anymore. It's too costly. The price is your entire life. Are you willing to pay that price just to avoid conflict? Whose peace are you protecting? Theirs. Because you're certainly not protecting your own. You're setting yourself on fire to keep them warm. Stop it. Let them be cold. The ultimate goal isn't just to handle disrespect. It's to rise above it completely. There comes a level of self-mastery where what other people think truly, deeply doesn't matter to you. This is the state of being an outlier. The outlier knows that people project their own reality onto others. When someone calls you arrogant, it's because they feel small. When someone calls you selfish, it's because they want to use you for their benefit. The outlier doesn't take it personally. They see it structurally, as a pattern. You see human beings as complex machines running old, outdated programming. They're reacting to their past trauma, their fears, their conditioning. You're just a screen they're projecting their internal movie onto. When you realize this, when you truly deeply understand it, you become free. You can look at someone screaming at you and feel nothing except curiosity. How interesting, you think? Look at how much pain they're carrying inside. You're no longer a piece on the chessboard. You're watching the entire game from above. This is the level Machiavelli aimed for. The level where you're not controlled by random chance, but by your own capability, your own excellence. You become the calm center of the storm. The chaos spins all around you, but you remain perfectly still. And in that stillness, you find a power that no shouting, no insult, and no betrayal can ever touch. This is the real victory. Not that they stop trying to disrespect you. They might never stop. The world is full of damaged people. The victory is that you stop caring about it. You stop needing them to change. You stop waiting for an apology that's never coming. You accept reality exactly as it is, and you move through it with the grace of a predator and the wisdom of a wise person. You become both the lion and the fox. So here's your assignment for the next 7 days. Observe everything. Be the clever fox. Notice every single time someone crosses a line. Notice every time you feel the urge to apologize when you did absolutely nothing wrong. Notice every time you make yourself smaller. Don't judge yourself for it. Just see it clearly. And then pick one small battle. One moment where you would normally give in and instead hold your ground. Hold the silence. Hold the eye contact. Hold the boundary firm. Watch what happens. Watch the shock and surprise in their eyes. Watch how the energy shifts and feel the surge of power returning to your body. It all begins with one moment, one choice, one act of saying no. You have the map. You have the weapon. The question is, do you have the willpower? Machiavelli wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Very few people experience what you really are. Show them who you really are. Not by talking louder, but by refusing to be moved or shaken." Before we finish, understand this isn't a one-time solution. This is a way of living, a philosophy for life. You will mess up. You will fall back into old patterns and habits. You will let someone walk all over you, and you will be angry at yourself about it later. That's part of the process of growth. Forgive yourself, then sharpen your sword again and get back to it. The path to being in control of your own life is like climbing a steep mountain. Most people give up at the bottom, complaining about how hard it is. You are climbing upward. The air is thinner up here where you are. It's colder. But the view from up here, the view is crystal clear. You see who people really are. And more importantly, you see who you really are. You are not the victim in your story. You are the writer. And the writer has the power to create a new character. A character who commands respect not by demanding it, but by living it, embodying it. The world will adjust to match you. It always does. Strong people determine the atmosphere in the room. Weak people just adapt to whatever atmosphere exists. Be the weather itself. Disrespect is a question being asked. Are you weak? Your response must be the answer. No, you don't need to shout this answer. Your life should be the answer. The way you carry yourself should be the answer. Your willingness to walk away should be the answer. We have walked through the valley of shadows and darkness. We have taken apart and examined the insult. We have armed the mind with weapons. Now you must go back out into the world. The wolves are out there waiting. Let them wait. You are ready. If this opened your eyes to new possibilities, understand this is only what I can share publicly. There are videos I cannot upload for everyone to see. There are aspects of dark psychology that I simply cannot discuss publicly on YouTube without being censored or having monetization removed. The algorithm suppresses and hides the most powerful information. Those videos exist behind the join button. If you're still reading this, you're not like most other people. Subscribe if you haven't already. But if you want access to what's hidden, click the join button and step into the architect level membership. You will unlock exclusive uncensored videos that dive into the deepest parts of the human mind and psychology. The techniques of elite manipulation, the shadow work that tears you down to build you back up stronger, and the forbidden philosophy that actually rules the world. Most people won't do this. That's exactly the point. See you on the inside.